Today is day 2 of transferring the hive. So today we're actually going to transfer the hive versus prep it. I was going to do that actually yesterday, but it took more time to get everything ready and around, and then I decided I wanted to go live, and with that, you know, it's a little bit more of a slower process. But, oh, you want to get in the video too? Yeah. We're not even that close to the hive, and she's like, hey, what are you up to? But just like yesterday, what we're gonna do is, I don't feel like that doesn't look so great. So just grab a little like debris. Yeah, I started yesterday with a nice little offering of some saps that I collected, as well as some myrrh, and using some pine needles. But ideally, you can grab like whatever, like dead dry brush that's around, leaves, all those things. It's just whatever you can get like to smoke. Some plants are probably not as best because some plants do emit like toxins when they're smoked, but like pine needles are pretty good. These little chaparral guys are pretty good. They're not really releasing too much. So, but what we do is we just get a little flame going. Put that down in there and get a. You went out that easy, didn't you? There we go. Just got a little bit more out. Can't get the first amount to light. Just, there we go. Get a nice little flame going. Push that down there. There we go. Yeah, and you just basically wait for the flame to start kind of coming up out of there like that, and then close her down. And just kind of give her a couple puffs, wait a little bit, give her a couple more puffs. You're just kind of stoking it. You don't want to like make too big of a flame. Smell a little bit. So there we go. And then now it can just sit there and kind of smolder for a while. The less you puff on it, the longer it's gonna last. So as long as it's smoking enough for you, you really don't have to like go and sit there and just puff on it all the time. Nice. You actually want it to smolder. You want a cold smoke. You don't want a hot smoke. You don't want to burn them. You just want to calm them down. Alrighty. And we got this guy going. Make our way over to the hive. So I got not exactly sure what size frames are gonna work the best, the short ones or the tall ones. It might be like a little bit of a mixture. But as we're going through this process, whatever comb or like whatever frames we're putting the comb in, we want to make sure that we're diligent in putting them together in the same order. So, you know, we don't want to take one part of the hive out and then, you know, kind of mix it up with the other part of the hive. We want to keep it uniform as we go and kind of go as a steady pace. So it's pretty much how they had it, just in a different place. So, and see with the smoke going, calming down. So we got a couple things here. This is some stainless steel wire. So this is really thin stuff. It's actually made for like B frames. We're gonna use this to connect the comb to the actual frames themselves. So I'm gonna grab the first big box over there, and then I'll grab the little box over here. Get myself some water so I can stay hydrated. As you can see, this is the large frame box. And you can see how big and deep the frames are. Yeah, this is your new home. Are you excited? Yeah. And so put this guy right in here. We'll be bringing it down into the boat there momentarily. But just in case that's when those frames are too big, we can stack like you can stack the hive in whatever like order or configuration you kind of feel like. Like it doesn't have to be deep frames on the bottom. You know, you can have shallow frames on the bottom, especially in this kind of scenario. Oh, are you getting upset here? Here. There you go. Give me a little puff. Puff, calm me down a little bit. You know, let you not smell me too much. Must be stinky. I should have took a deep clean before this. It's really, as soon as the sun hits you and you start sweating, they're gonna smell you regardless. So I just got cleaned up and then start sweating and then. But regardless, it don't matter how clean you are, they're gonna smell you. So this is the short frame box, you can see. And see this difference in size in the frame. It's a much shorter frame. So if the cones are real short, this will come in handy for putting them in there. So if the large frames are too big, then what we'll do is we'll use those up in the top part of the hive for the honeycomb and everything, and they'll build all that out as time goes on. All right, so we got our handy dandy tools here. Stack them on top of the frame, cross the frame so they don't just fall through easy. And we got our stainless steel wire there. And I'm gonna take a little drink of water to hydrate before we begin. I like tucking my helmet down inside like a jacket. Keeps it nice. Okay, Karen. Sleeves there and kind of tuck the gloves in a little bit just so they don't get like up in here and start stinging you in the sleeve. So ideally I don't want any of them to sting me. But reaching into the hive like this, the reality of the situation is they're probably gonna try and sting me. I just don't want them to die. They're not gonna hurt me stinging through all this layer of clothing. Like, I can't really get, as long as I'm not exposed, you know, they can't really do much about it. That's why grizzly bears can get in there. One thing they like to do though is bees really like going for the face. So you can see like before we got all this cleaned up down here. So there we go. Get a little smoke down in here. You can see some there's a drone there down in here. You can see there's some more dead bees from yesterday adding to the collection. A lot of them are males. Most of them are males there. So there's just a lot of drones dying off. And the bees only live so long, so it's actually, you know, it's really normal to have bees dying around the hive. If it's like a crazy huge amount, that's not good, but especially like this type of hive, it's not able to expand it, you know. I mean, it can expand a bit. It is a decent size hive, but I take that last statement back. It can too be quite huge. So here's the short frames. Alright guys, I'm in the flight path here. I like just setting it right up here in the doorway like that, so we can kind of come in here and look what's going on. Yeah, so those are, let me see, take a frame here. So you can see like the size of those outer combs. You see this. This is a little short. So I'll grab the other box and we'll see what that. Because ideally we want to save as much comb as we can. Aren't they so beautiful? So in order to help cut the comb away, we're going to use this. And so, here, let me get you guys in a good position here so you can see what's going on here. Maybe you can get a... One thing about the live features, I can't really go widescreen, so there we go. I think that's a good point where you can watch the Hive as I'm doing this. So we're going to use this guy here to take the comb section by section off. So it looks like they did get into the honey a little bit. There was a drone, he got in there and his life ended. Probably not from the honey, just from it was time. They only live so long as well, so it's just part of it. Alright, let me grab the other box here. You can look here. That's a little long. But we don't know how the combs are back there. So what I'm guessing is we'll start with the little bit smaller ones because you can easily cut a comb down versus making it larger. Alrighty. Sorry, I'm having some wire trouble. I accidentally let go of it. It went all over the place. Yeah, so it's kind of springy. I'm just kind of tightening it back down a little bit there. There we go. Yeah. Let me see if I can put like a little notch in this plastic. There we go. So I got a little notch there. Take this guy. Yeah, little makeshift clamp. Alrighty. We gotta take this whole stack out of here first. So then we can go comb by comb. Put our clippers here, our wire there. I think I'm gonna sit on that side more towards in the bathroom. Let's see how you guys react if I go by here. Squeeze by in here. get our stuff in here. Alrighty. Alrighty. That sun's piercing. Let me look here. There's a lot of bees in here, so we'll go slow here. Hey there. Probably want the smoke. Eh, they're still doing fine. This little outer comb here is just gonna get disposed of. But see, if you move slowly, you don't disrupt too much. See, I'm just kind of give them a second. You see, they're kind of clearing the area. There we go. We loosen that up. Hey there. How you doing? Hi. I'm not meaning to be invasive. Yeah, here. Just gonna take this little piece of comb out of the way. And string you ladies back over here. So we can set them up here. They're working on that comb there. And so now this is a much larger comb that's exposed behind it. So we want to clear our way just gently. So we take that little piece off of there. We want to make room to get to the comb behind it. So that way when I go to, whoop, you okay? You okay? There you go. So you're just working gently around the bees. There we go. So now we got a nice clean edge there. This is the hard part, is that this comb goes diagonally this way, all the way to the inside there. So, I just realized this whole chamber right here, look at this. So this here probably is the wall of the beehive right there. So that could be a possible another method to get in. Ooh, I'm getting a little headache from all the smoke. How about in here is this? Oh, that's completely glued. Okay, so this is gonna be a process, huh, bees? Okay, let's put you guys back up in here. Alright, so how do we get you that comb out of there in a nice gentle fashion? There is a couple plugs on that side. Looks like this whole shelf actually might be like just like a wood insert. Oh yeah. You starting to get a little annoyed by me? I think we'll have to work from this side here. Try not to get in the cabinet too, or in the way too much, but shit. Use this. That's probably better than use those to prop it up. Gentle here. They're like, what is that thing? And what is it doing to our cone? Maybe. Very gentle here. See them all over that. Well, I think what I'm going to do here is grab both frames out. There we go. So now we have the option to pick what frame we want to use here. I'll be really gentle, trying to pull that comb out of here. We don't want to hurt a single bee. Now they're getting a little angry about that one. There you go. It's okay, girls. Yeah, I don't have much. Tiny and gentle. Okay, there's like a massive cone in between it. Alright, I need to refill my smoker. I will be right back. You guys can watch this. One more smoke. Oh, careful. Oh, sorry. Uh-oh, one stung it. So that's a little bit of bee venom right there. And you see that attracts the other bees to it. So I run my hand over a little bit of smoke. I didn't mean to disturb this guy, or lady. I just slightly squished her. And that's why I'm trying to move gently. Because I'm trying not to get them to be too upset about this situation here. There we go. There we go. There we go. Set this in there. Even though this is larger, I don't want to really break the comb too much. Just kind of set that there. Now we can see what's going on now. So we got another comb going this way across. I don't know how, if there's like a bottom to this drawer and there's two layers, or what really is going on here. So definitely a fix to the bottom. It looks like that comb might actually feed down into this bottom comb. We want to just take a moment to look and see what's going on with this comb. I'm not seeing any brood at the moment in this outer comb. not seen really any brood at all on that. So this is going to be interesting here because the last one was just affixed to the cabinet. We'll see. So what I want to do is just kind of push down the center of the comb, but I want to do it in a sorry lady, gentle fashion because they've glued this together on this frame. I'm just trying to sorry. I didn't mean to scare you girls. I'm just kind of pushing it along back in there, kind of feeling the comb as I go. Okay, I just hit something solid. There we go. Now, the slower you move, the more likely you are. Oh, we hit some honey there. You see that? So we want to move a little slowly because we don't want so much honey to come out of the comb that it like starts to pour all over them and hurt them, or drown them, because they can drown in honey. See where we're at up here. Ooh, they didn't like that one. I think they have these combs a little glued together. Right there. Yeah. Little joint right there. There we go. Not having any frames, they've had to kind of make all this up themselves and figure it all out as a group. There's like a whole art to comb making. Every hive does it a little different from each other. Because every hive is another unique situation. Anyways, yeah, I didn't, something in here I didn't close off. That's where my connection is. What happens is they got the top part of the comb is fused to the other comb behind it, which is great structurally. Makes a much stronger comb. They're building with just pure wax here. Wow, that is something spectacular. There we go. There we go. We got that set free there. So the comb is, yeah, it is fused going all the way back. So. Look at them girls. Well, we got the first part of this started. I'm going to take a little moment to get some fresh air and some water, but I'm going to keep you guys just going here. So I'll be right back and we'll continue this process. But smoke is giving me a little headache, especially in the confined area. I want to give them a little break from it too. There we go, back in here. Wow, it is quite amazing. So, still bound up top of that, it seems like. Wow, we went to that beautiful yellow in the cone. We just make sure we stabilize things here. Now that we got that cavity there, you can see over here we got these two. So you can see kind of how slow of a process this is, at least for me. You know, this isn't something I do on the daily, that's for sure. Woo! Smoky. Whew. Let the smoke go out there for a little bit. So what we want to do is we want to get these guys in this frame here securely. We want to do this as gently as possible without like doing too much impact on this comb. And it seems like this is just honeycomb here at the moment. It's not, they're capping some, which is nice. But you notice how they just keep, those girls, they ain't giving up on it. They just keep working. You know what I mean? There's guard bees to deal with the intruders. The work bees, they deal with the work. So that even though the comb's right here, they're still tending to everything. So I am tempted to break these down to fit in here because it is, I mean, that is honeycomb. At least this smaller piece, yeah, I think we can actually get those in this smaller frame. The girls might not like that quite as much. Here, do this here. This thing is just being kind of pain in the butt trying to unravel on me. So we'll get a nice long bit of it. Enough to kind of work with. It should be enough to work with a little bit. Oh wow, that stuff's hard to snap it. Then, where is it here? Okay, there it is. I'm going to take our wire, a little notch that I made, and we can try and keep the stuff from unraveling. There's some spring to it, so as soon as you let go, it just wants to go. Okay, so we got this here. I'm going to take this string here. What would be easier, Stanley? Would be easier just to It's just this thing about deciding all this in the moment. It's just trying to figure it out because I want to preserve as much. But this is also more like honey. It's not brewed. So, see how these girls do if I try and... Well, you know what? We're already in this frame. I know I'm being indecisive, but whatever. So, let's take this and go... Here, let's go under. Make ourselves a little portal here. Okay. Using this box as our... Okay. Alright. Oh, you're supposed to come out the other side, not... Oh. Where's my little wire? Get stuff out of my way. Make my wire nice and straight. Straight as I can get it. Feed it back through here. Hear that? Yeah, I need a better setup for this. Here, how do we go this way? Lift this up and go that way. Lift this up. Go that way. Aha! There we go. Now what we want to do is come from back here. Excuse me, ladies. Excuse me. And what we're going to do is come and twist this off here. That is the other side of this. Come down a little bit here till we're in our thin spot. Hopefully this will be thin enough. Interesting. So the comb is definitely not as fat as the wire, but I think we use enough wire in enough places we can kind of glue and figure out the rest. I guess that's the one part about forcing it into a little bit smaller of a frame, but at the same time, like when I actually get back, I'm a little confused at how I'm going to actually be able to get far back in there, but we're going to just take this as we go and kind of figure it out. That's all we can really do. So, what is a good roundabout way of going about doing this? Because we can't, how are these in here? If we give the wire some twist, some pull, like, can it? Okay, we can. Slow. Okay, so I think this is what we'll do here. So we'll twist this side up like this. Wire's so small, my clippers have a hard time cutting through it. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure this out too, okay? And the wire. Twist up the wire, make it tighter. There we go. Hang on a little bit. And then we can take, where is that? Smaller, whatever. We'll take a smaller piece like this. What we'll do is make a little C-shaped hook. Like that. And we'll twist the wire, tighten it to the comb. Take pliers. I know you guys are like, what is going on here? I think I might go grab some better snips here in a moment. Because these ones are just not cutting too well. You guys doing better than my fingers. There we go. Alright, so that tightened that wire there, and then I'll use another piece of wire. Make another C shape like that. This time we'll back side like that. And then the same way. Twist. 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 There we go. And I think we can just yeah, I can hang it. They'll just figure shit out of that. There we go. Those are good enough. So there, now that definitely a lot more secure. There we go. And tilt that like that. See how we got that nice and secured? Just a very small temporary just that wire there. Now what we can do is put this in the box. So, whoop, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm trying to be gentle here. And we'll put it like that. And there we go. Now we have our first comb in the hive. It's official, first comb in the hive. Got the first comb in the hive. That is so nice. Alrighty, so now we gotta come in here and get into the next part. I think I'm gonna actually start on this and grab this bottom area here, just so we can get more cleared out and kind of have like a better understanding as we go, because there's a possibility that these are some like really very large combs inside there. So yeah. So the why aren't the bees stinging me? The smoke has a lot to do with it. So the smoke keeps the bees quite quite calm. So even though I'm covered, if you notice, they're not like actually like stinging me. They're just kind of checking me out. I've had, I think, 2 or 3 so far that have actually stung and lost their lives. Not, I mean, it didn't hurt me because it's just my gloves, but I'm trying to really minimize the amount of bees that actually use their stinger, because when they do, they die. So the smoke really helps keep them calm. And this process here is a kind of slow process, so and it's good to move slow. That's another thing that keeps them from wanting to sting me, is I'm moving very slowly. Oh shoot, see? A few of them kind of got squished there. Well, I guess more than a couple lost their lives, but trying not to get any to sting me. The thing is, when they do sting, what I'll do is I'll take, like right here's a little venom. I'll take my finger and rub it over the smoke, and it'll get rid of the smell of the venom. So here we go. Start working on this next piece of comb. There we go. Sorry. They're a little pissed about that. Yeah, sorry. You see, that's just pure comb right there. Super beautiful. I'm taking this little comb and setting it right in the frame so we can try and keep that. Oh, sorry. See, I just squished one, and you see how... Oh, you can't see, I didn't move you back. So I'm going for the second comb here, and I accidentally squished a little guy, and they all like flared up and got quite defensive about it. So it looks like this bottom comb is just... Is it hanging? Is it where it is here? Okay, so there's wood that goes back there. Looks like... Right. Sorry, ladies. Slowly goes it. Okay, that's not connected there. I guess that's connected. Oop, there we go. So I just unhooked the back part. That's larger, so I want to get another large frame for this guy. Over here. I don't even know if we'll end up using this little box. We might just use the big guys. They're a little unhappy about that. But this outer comb too, I haven't really made anything with it yet, you see? It's just pure wax. And this is kind of like the outer door shield I was talking about earlier. with them spraying all these nasty chemicals on these bees, really, like some of these outer comb I don't really want to take too much of, but at the same time, like they're really utilizing that. So at least getting those out of there, they'll make new ones. And it looks like, these taller frames are going to be the ones that we're going to use. These short frames, those they'll use later on for making honey reserve and all that type of stuff. So yeah, staying calm definitely helps. All right, ladies. I know. I'm gonna take off this part of the connection. Let's not drop this comb here. I need your cooperation, ladies. It's hard with really big, large pieces of comb, because comb is just all wax. Like, it really doesn't have much strength to it. You see how they're all starting to get pretty interested in me at the moment. So what we can do here is just take the smoker, because I don't want anyone getting too upset, and just kind of get some puffs going again. Oh, looks like we're out of smoke. Out of smoke. So you just kind of drizzle my hand over it a little bit, and kind of forget about you a little bit. Right now I'm starting to sweat quite a bit because we're in the desert and it's hot, and I'm all covered up, so I'm smelling that a little bit. But they're still remaining quite calm. But that's the big thing too, is just kind of like watching your own behavior and watching their behavior. What are the bees doing? How are they responding? Just really taking your time to watch the hive and observe. So you can see that comb it goes up here, but it's really hard to tell exactly where all the little connection points are, because I don't know how this cupboard here was actually designed. So let me get in here, ladies. And this being a warm day too, the wax is warm. Of course, the wax is normally going to be warm because they're in here working it. They're warm creatures themselves. I think they might have done the same thing over here where they glued these two combs together. beautiful comb. Look at all those girls. Like, uh-oh, they're getting angry. There's a bunch of stingers. Okay, let's let them get calmed down. So what we're gonna do is, I gotta go refill my smoke. You see that? See how they're stinging me like this? I don't want them just killing themselves needlessly. So looks like I got a little bit going in here. We can just kind of see, puff on it like that. That helps a lot. See, it's good. We still have a little smoke. You see, they just kind of return. But you see that stinger right there. You see how if they can smell that stinger, they're gonna want to come and check that out and investigate, like what's going on. Why did one of our girls sting? So when one stings, then boom, 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 more and more start coming, and you just want to be, you want to be wary and watch them. So, but we need to get this comb out of there. The thing is it's going down into the second layer, but we have to work with this here and now because I don't want that comb just falling. Here we'll throw a couple puffs down in here, just kind of calm the girls down a little bit. There we go. I know that didn't sound like too calm because they're like, oh shoot. But that's just them singing like, hey, something's going on here. Look at that. Let's see right here. So this is mainly comb as well. Let me take a moment to check it out, see what's going on. They're starting to fill some of the pockets, and this right here in those pockets is actually the bee bread. That's their food source. That's what they eat, is right there. So that's after they take some of the honey, they take some pollen, they take different stuff, and they put it all in there, and they make that bee bread. So right now we're, this outer part is just more kind of like, seems like the food storage. So we're gonna, ideally we want all the cups to remain exactly the same as what they were, but because these are kind of like hanging combs the way that this is, I think we'll just do what we can to wire it and get it as straight up and down as we can, and then from there, we'll just have to do what we can do to get them as close as possible, because they're gonna eventually just take everything and make it the way that they want it anyways. So we can get you a good look. So we can start to see what's going on a little bit better here. We got those two front combs out. Looks like that does go downstairs into this lower box here. You got a dead drone right there. And you can see like this is completely sealed right here, but it does look like these are wood cabinet, like they have side walls. So it's not just like open into nothing. So it seems like there's some type of opening in between. So there's probably some frames in here and the drawers went in and out like that. Yeah, but wow. And you can just kind of take a moment to see what's going on here. You see how the bees are kind of holding themselves together, making like a bit of scaffolding to kind of close themselves off. It's quite amazing. Like right here is a giant pocket of propolis. These girls are probably taking some of that and gonna mix it with some bee bread. And yeah, it's just look at all of them working together. It's so amazing. This is gonna be the harder part though, is getting these internal very, very large combs to fit. So it's the next leg in the process. So we're gonna experiment and move our way down through this next one. So I'm just gonna put that big one right there. There's a possibility this guy right here just might be by itself. You see them? They're in there taking care of everything. And so, yeah, you see all that honey starting to pour out a little bit. I got a little capped honey there. All right. Uh-oh, see? We got another couple stings right there. But, I mean, it makes sense. I was just reaching into their hive. But you see, look. We do just get a couple puffs over it. See, they're getting agitated. And then you give them some puffs. There we go. See? See how it goes away? And then we can take that stinger out and put it somewhere where it's not on us, so it's not continually to stink. Because we want them to be as calm as possible in this very kind of tragic, invasive situation. All right. Let's see. So it's kind of like, yeah, this is side. Oops, sorry, you okay? You okay? Here, there you go. Boy, starting to get you agitated again. I hear it. I hear you. See, they're getting a little agitated again. Surprised my smoke has lasted long. I really want to get that comb out before I fill the smoke up, but I don't want them to get too agitated where a whole bunch of them are just stinging me, because that's not good for them. go. Girls, smell smoke. There we go. There we go. Now you can see I got that one out. So we'll go ahead. I'm just gonna wire these two. I don't know exactly how many combs I'm gonna be getting out of here, but I suspect that I'll have more than enough frames to be able to do this. So, but yeah, I want to show you in there, and then I'm gonna go make some more smoke. But see, we got one more layer deep. See, what was holding me up is that comb right there. I had to actually slice through that comb because it's going through all the layers. And this comb, they might all be doing the same as well. Okay, now we're coming into brood. This next stage is brood. You can see in there some of those like little cups. You know, and then you can see in other ones there's like little larvae and stuff in there. Over here, some more bee bread. It looks like we're either that's some capped honey or, but I thought I saw some larvae. Yeah, that looks like larvae in there. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the really important part that we need to really take our time and be delicate, because when you're just pulling this out, it's, you know, it's mainly honey and stuff, but this is the actual, that's the babies, you know what I mean? So we want to really be careful with them. Oh, yeah. So, since we got that figured out, what we're going to do next is slide this comb down right here. Just like so, get it more in the middle. And then take some of our wire here. It's long enough to go all the way around. I think so. Yep, it is. And we'll do kind of the same thing as before. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to knock you over. Got my whippy wire here. Get that side down. Sorry guys, Jesus, I'm a butthead. There we go. Now we'll get this side down there. Like so. And we'll get this over there like so. And we can, I think it's actually best to kind of pull it down here for this. Uh-oh. There we go, we got there. Okay, now take the little wires, do the same thing again. Kind of like we'll see. And I am being so shaky. I'm sorry, guys. Not meaning to be. guy here. I think he's kind of evening him out a little bit. Tighten that up a little bit by cinching it closer. Tighten that one up by cinching it closer. There we go. We'll put that in the box. Nice and gently. There. And now we got the 2 frames in there. We'll go ahead and take another piece of wire and we'll do this one here. I'm like completely out of smoke and they're still being tolerable, so I'm just gonna keep working without smoke until they get too pissed. Me right here might be angering them just because I'm in the flight path. Like, what are you doing, dude? You're in the way of the hive. I know, guys. It's fucking invasive as hell. I don't mean to do this to you. You guys just didn't pick the best place to form your hive. I apologize for that. Oh shit. There we go. Yeah, I know, girls, I know. Looks almost like the United States. There we go. Hey, look, my smoke got going again. It's like the smoke that never ends. All right, so we got those done. So we got 3 frames. Looks like we'll probably be able to fit like about 9 frames in the box. We'll see. See, there's a little bit of honey on here and they're all over that. And it smells like the comb now, so it's one thing kind of nice. I'm getting the boxes to smell like them in this process. Okay. I get like this spot like that right there. Move that back a little bit. Move that back a little bit. There we go. Give myself a little better ledge. And we don't really want to be too angled over. Here, I want to bring you back over here to see this next part. So you can see we're getting this next top part. So this is the same comb that was like down here. You see him coming out and bumping me? Like, hey, you're getting too close. It's because I'm moving fast. We will possibly take a little break here in a moment. Recharge the phone. Look at that. Get them to calm down a little bit there. See how the smoke gets them to leave the area. Whew, I got stung on that one. Right there on the, right there on the wrist. Yeah, if I had some longer gloves, I wouldn't run into that issue, but yeah, that was a big one for them. You know, that one wasn't as gentle as I'd like it to be. I actually got like a few stingers. One of them actually went right through the glove. I can feel it in my finger. There we go. Bunch of stingers on that one. But you know, this is such a invasive process. You know, I'm reaching right into that hive and pulling it out comb by comb. You know, it's okay that I got stung. You know, personally, I feel like it's a righteous trade-off for what I'm doing. I mean, geez, how invasive can you get here? You know, going right into their home like that. So I used to actually swell up quite a bit. That one looks like a pretty good one. I don't normally get it like that red. Like he really got me pretty damn good. But I haven't really had too much issues here of lately with bee venom. Seems to not make me swell up. Curious to see though, because I got stung yesterday in the back of the head when I came up to the hive. Oh, dang it, look at him. Girl, see? now it's gonna be over for you. Yeah. You can see how like they kind of like their behavior too. Like it really fucks with them. You know, they rip out their whole abdomen. You can see her tail there. Like that's her ass hanging out. Like not in a good way. Like, and then they end up dying a little while afterwards. To me, it's sad. But hey, what do? Just try and be as gentle as you can. So you can be good to as many of them as you can. Okay, they're starting to want to attack me. I can feel the aggression building up. Oh, they're even on the screen there too. I don't know if you can notice them or not. But we're gonna just let them be a little upset for the moment. I want to get this one done here, and then we'll go ahead and take a break. I'm gonna recharge the phone, and then I'll come back and go live again. So I'll end up stopping the live feed because it's taking a little bit longer. I still haven't gotten that way to work, and I keep trying to do it that way. Mister, what are you doing? They don't like those quick movements when I pull that line out of there. I'm like, dude, come on, you're moving so slow, you're being gentle, why are you trying to move quick now? You see how they're trying to go in after my fingers. They just don't like it, huh? It's like, well, just move slow, mister. Move slow. We like slow and gentle. Slow and gentle. Come on. Need you to move out of the way. Thank you. There we go. You can see the hive is starting to get formed in that box. So when we actually go to lift the box out, we're going to want to be really gentle. So, but with this, we got 4 frames done. We got 6 more to go for this box. And then we got the other box outside. You can see we've It doesn't look like it. We've made a dent just because every time I take a comb out, the bees go ahead and try and fill the area. Um, and they're a little kind of like, what the fuck's going on right now too, just because like so much is going on right here and then like right here. But and I've broken some honey, and it's really good for me to take this slow so they can actually drink up the honey quick enough to clean each other, so that way they're not getting doused in it. Because the last thing I want is the queen to get doused in honey and have her like drowned in this process. So yeah, there'll be little chunks of wax and stuff that will be left over out of this process, which will be nice. I got to get myself cooled down a little bit. Head's starting to get pretty hot. Get myself some more smoke. Let them calm down a little bit. You can see they're all over me right now. A little upset, and you know, for good reason. And look at, you can see how many of them are just kind of drifting around, following me. So I do come over a little area, a little ways away from the hive. If I just keep walking, they'll just kind of keep following me. So, and there's a good amount of guard bees out right now. You can see them all swarming around me. What I want to do is take my little smoker here and throw some more debris down in there. I want these ladies to go back to the hive. I don't want them to be trying to sting me and get pissed and all the rest. So yeah, fire went out. Come on, guys, you're being. Try not to burn your wings as I'm getting the stairs. There we go. You can hear the whoof. Yeah. See how just a little bit of smoke like that, and bam. I mean, hey, there's one Karen left in the group. Go back to the hive, Karen. Quick, Karen. That's why the word's called Karen, because they really care. It's okay that they care. Yeah. Well, with that, I'll see you guys in a little bit. I can go get refilled on water, and then I'll start the live stream up again here in a little bit. We'll see you in a moment. We can figure this out.